All right, we're going to make this quick because this show gave me permanent brain damage. So, also, it's just me this time. Nick, that's me. No one else is here because no one else had the audacity to sit through all 9-hour-long episodes of this terrible excuse of a show. In case you didn't see the thumbnail or read the title, which I would have assumed you've done if you're watching this video, this is the Halo show. And this is my review. This is a review, not a rant. Not at all. Definitely not a rant. Of this absolute monstrosity of a show. Let's get one thing out of the way. This show is garbage. Which I've made very clear. I hate it with a burning passion. Now to get into why I hate it with a burning passion, and hopefully not give myself more permanent brain damage than the show has already given me. For one, just yesterday, well, it won't be yesterday at the time of the upload of this. Actually, maybe it will. Who knows? That's not important. But just yesterday, during the very few times a month where I actually have access to an Xbox, I played the first mission of Halo Combat Evolved. That singular mission was somehow better than all 9 episodes of the show. And the game came out in 2001. That says a lot about how absolutely awful this show was. So let's get the good out of the way, because there's not much of it. There were 3 pretty cool Chief fight scenes that had admittedly mediocre visual effects. But that's 3 admittedly mediocre fight scenes in a 9-episode series. Well, season. Because before the show even came out, they had this audacity to renew it for a season 2. Have they even made enough to warrant a season 2? Do they have a proper budget for a season 2? I don't know. I don't know, but I'm going to be scarred for life after watching season 2, which I'm going to force myself to do so you guys don't have to. I don't know who you guys are, since we have a grand total of 15 subs on this channel, but that also doesn't matter right now, because that is besides the point. The point is that other than those 3 decent fight scenes, this show was a nightmare. I don't know how long I'm dragging this on for, and I really don't want to talk about this show, but at the same time, I don't think anyone watching this wants to watch the show, so I'm going to spare you this suffering by telling you why you shouldn't. Long story short, by the end of the first episode, we were saying, Chief, put your helmet back on. By the end of episode 3, we were saying, Chief, put your pants back on. Oh my God, this show is awful. 6 years, 20 games, Chief never takes his helmet off. And next thing you know, 3 episodes into this new Timeline TV show, we've seen him naked. I really don't want to talk about this anymore. I really don't. You know what? Do I even want to record this episode? You know what? You are going to suffer through every minute of me talking about this. Every minute you're going to have to listen to me to contemplate whether or not it's worth recording this video. And the answer to that is no. No, it is not worth me recording it. That's not going to stop me, though, is it? Anyway, the other main cast members include some Asian terrorist girl, which I guess this kind of came out as racist, but it's not racist. It's just unnecessary, the character. Very stereotypical. Honestly, the show writing was just really bad for her. They didn't make her any interesting of a character at all. And then 2 episodes before the season even ended, they resolved her admittedly mediocre character arc and then just forgot she existed. And her whole character arc is her entire separatist movement has been completely eradicated by the Covenant. At the same time, she's the literal last one left, and she still thinks she can beat this evil warlord man with the help of, guess who? The Shocker from the hit 2017 movie Spider-Man Homecoming. Because he's in it too. So yeah, it's her and the Shocker versus some crazy warlord man. And guess what? These two managed to take on an entire army and win. How does that make any sense? This kind of stuff makes the Star Wars sequel's serious lack of logic actually make sense in comparison. Then at the same time, the Covenant have got this human lady who is like called the Blessed One or whatever. Don't know why she exists. All she was like, oh, she's there to connect to Chief, to humanize him. Humanizing Chief ruined Chief's character. So yeah, he barely had his helmet on in the show. Hell, most of the time he was in that stupid undersuit and not the actual Chief armor. The game, he never takes it off. But they're like, oh, it subverts expectations. Just because it's different doesn't mean it's good. Look at The Last Jedi. That subverted people's expectations. Doesn't make it a good movie, does it? Anyway, again. So, Chief's whole thing is, within the first episode, he decides that the UNSC are bad, so he's going to betray them and defect. Then at the end of episode 2, he changes his mind and goes back to the UNSC, deciding they're not bad anymore. And then progressively over the next 7 episodes, he progressively starts to decide that the UNSC is bad again. Until by the finale, he's decided they're not bad anymore, it's just Halsey. I didn't know Halsey was supposed to be a villain in the first place, nor the entire UNSC, but you know, I don't think any of the people making this show actually knew what they were doing. They probably looked at the cover art of Infinite and said, this is enough research, and then made some cheesy sci-fi drama out of that. And they were all like, oh, there's this big war with the Covenant. We got a grand total of 3 fights. Where was the war? And they're all like, we need to find the Halo ring, and Reach is still in good condition, apparently. And I've literally only played 1 mission of 1 game, and I still understand the lore a lot better than these writers. Okay, that's a lie. I played a little bit of Halo 5's campaign, but people don't like Halo 5. And I don't know why people don't like Halo 5, because I skipped the cutscenes. I don't know why I'm still going about this. I'm literally walking in circles, talking to my phone about how bad of a show Halo is. And by the end of this, I'm going to have a headache, whether it be from the walking in circles, or the talking about this show, or a combination of both. Probably both. Honestly, I'm done. I've had enough. I'm done with this. You don't want to hear me talk about this. I don't want to talk about this. But you know what all this episode really exists for is to confirm that no, we're not going to make 1 episode and then forget about it, and then remember it exists 3 years later, say we're going to do something about it, and then not. Because that is exactly what happened with our podcast 3 years ago, which you probably forgot about because we forgot about it. Goodbye. I'm done with this. Goodbye. Cut.